It was a tough week for Inter Miami this past week with a loss to the New York Red Bulls, but it's an exciting week ahead. Looking ahead to the NYC FC matchup, Champions Cup, beyond that, all this week on the Inter Miami Weekly Show. Welcome back to our perch here at Chase Stadium with the Arsenal great Kieran Gibbs. I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you with us for another edition of the Inter Miami Weekly Show. Kieran, we have had a lot of fun on this show at times. 5-0 against Orlando and a couple of nice victories after that. This was a tougher one coming off of 4-0 against the New York Red Bulls. Look, they were mitigating circumstances. Weather was disastrous. International duty, injuries, not to make excuses, but there was a lot going on. Still within that performance, there were some positives to pull, mainly a lot of the younger guys, some of the draft picks who were able to get some more minutes, get some playing time, and is only going to help the group down the season, building the depth. So what are your takeaways from the match against New York?
Yeah, look, I mean, listen, it's always disappointing to be on the wrong end of a scoreline like that. I've been there as a player. I'm sure most players and every team has at some point. But yeah, the boys will be looking to bounce back quickly.
And in a way, just better to get a match like that out of your system early in the year rather than later on.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, listen, you want not many of them in a season. So hopefully the fact that it's come early will give the boys a good wake-up call. And I'm sure once, we get everyone back from international duties, injuries, things will start looking healthier again.
And on a day like that with players missing due to injury, international duty, a lot of the roster was supplemented by guys who have come through either the draft or the academy. So with that, we sit down with Academy Director Victor Pastora. Victor, it's been since August of 2019 that you've been with the club now, and longest tenured member of the technical staff, and officially the title of Academy Director since this past August. Walk me through the growth you've seen at this club over the last 5 years, because a lot has changed and a lot has grown, especially from the youth levels on up.
Yes, it's been incredible. We come here every day and we still can't believe it. The first time we stepped into the fields and we realized we had the infrastructure for the first time in South Florida to create a world-class academy and a world-class club was incredible. And since then, I think the potential of South Florida has flourished given the opportunities that the club has given.
Absolutely.
All of us staff and players.
And you look at some of the names that have come through, and local names, Benjamin Kramaski and David Ruiz, all these kids, all this talent that's in the area that you've cultivated. Talk to me about that process, finding players, and the day-to-day of what goes into a person like your job.
Yes, so we scout constantly. We have a scouting department, and we have the coaches also scouting. So what we do is that we start creating depth charts of the players that are more advanced. There's a lot of talent in South Florida. The reality is that one of the hardest things is that we pick 20, 22, 24 players, but in reality there's 40, 60 players that can play in this environment. But we can only fit those numbers for different reasons and rules as well. So the process is that the scouts identify players, then we as coaches go see them, and then we build depth charts and we invite them in periodically. Maybe once every 6 weeks, we bring in what we have identified as the top players or the more advanced players in South Florida in every age group. And we play in different ways. We have basically built an all-star, which we call the Discovery program of the best players in South Florida that are not part of the MLS Next environment. And then we have also an all-star for the best players in the MLS Next environment. And then between those two teams, we try to then build extract the best players that the region has to offer, and then have them play against our players. It's a constant competition, players coming in, coming out, coming back, and it's exciting. It's difficult, but there's a lot of talent in South Florida, players from so many different places in the world, players with great character, with great technical quality, with intelligence, with passion for the game. So it's a good problem to have. We do have a deep talent pool.
That's a good thing. And I've often heard coaches talk about different players in a proud way, almost like being their parent, right? Where you see them and the growth they have. We saw it last year. Benjamin Kramaski goes from academy to MLS Next Pro to the first team to the U.S. men's national team and makes his full national team debut. When you see growth like that, draft picks or academy guys coming through and making those big leaps, what does it mean to you? Just almost like a proud parent moment, so to speak.
Yeah, to all of us in the program, it is extremely, that's what we work for. But we don't only promote players to professional football. We make sure, for us, the person is more important than the player. because before they're football players, they're people,
Right.
So the club is committed to making sure that every player that does not make professional football also has a way through football to advance in life. So we place players in college that don't make it to football, then some boys make it to the second team, then some boys make it to the first team, like Ian Frey, Benjamin Cremachi, Noah Allen, David Ruiz. Talking about different backgrounds, different places, right? And now Santiago Morales, Tyler Hall, Israel Bolt, right? So it is, yeah, that's the icing on the cake, right? And we are so proud of those boys. They have great character, not only great talent, and they behave like professionals. And when you put all those ingredients together, they manage to advance and succeed. So we're very, very proud of them, and also very proud of the boys that don't make professional football yet, but manage to advance through football into the next opportunities.
Absolutely. And one of the levels that you see from MLS Next to MLS Next Pro to the first team is that MLS Next Pro. Inter Miami CF2 season just started, starting to get underway now. Rivalry coming up in the coming week against Orlando. Talk me through just some of the talent that we can see this year with Inter Miami CF2, because last year, so much of it, because of injuries and everything else early in the year, had to come through from the second team to the first team early. Kramaski, there was that game against DC last year where I think it was 5 or 6 players ended up on the field at the same time, and now it's time for a new batch. So as this year is beginning for Inter Miami CF2 in Next Pro, who are some of the names that we could be looking out for?
Yeah, it's important to point out that we've always played young players. I believe that last year we were the youngest team in the league, and our coaches love doing that, giving opportunities to young players. Right now we have already signed young players in the back line. They're all, you have on the right Israel Bortright that we signed. We have Tyler Hall as a right center back that we've also signed. You got Ty Barton, all Academy products, as a left side center back last game against Red Bull. On the left side, the two boys taking on the responsibility of left fullbacks are Cesar Abadia and Samuel Basabe, that are also products of the Academy, 2005s. Then we have Ricardo Montenegro, who's a product of the Academy, Derek Martinez. We got Jack Pym, Santi Morales, and we've got Brian Destin up top. And then this last game against Red Bull, we put in, I think, about 4 under 17 players that are going to be playing in the GA Cup this weekend. So Mateo Torletti went in, Mateo Saja, and Daniel Pinter, who scored the tying goal in the last minute of the match. So it's incredible how many young players we have. When if we feel that they're competing and they're ready, we don't hesitate. We put them on the field, and then usually they respond well.
And last question for you. I'm glad you brought up GA Cup. That's coming up now this week as well. We've seen Benjamin Kramaski and others come through GA Cup, have a lot of success in GA Cup. That's, again, for those of you who are maybe not familiar, that's, I guess, as you think of it, of a pyramid, there's MLS Next and the Academy, and there's GA Cup, and then from there you have Inter Miami 2 and Next Pro, and then, of course, the first team. But it's GA Cup now coming up, one of the many tournaments that you'll see throughout the year at the Academy level. As far as that tournament goes, what is the overall importance of it to the spectator, to the fan, who's maybe going to see this week updates on social media or through the club about here's what's happening in GA Cup? What does it mean to the program? And again, some players to keep an eye on in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it is the greatest international competition in the United States for youth soccer, right? And it gives us the opportunity to compete against the best, some of the best South American clubs, South American academies, Mexican academies, European academies. So it's a great test. It's a moment of great fun. It's very competitive, and I think anyone that wants to drive up to the IMG academies and watch, or anybody that is watching on live stream, they have to understand that we are playing with our MLS academies against the best programs in the world. So it's a great opportunity to evaluate where we're at. We want to compete. We want to win. We want to play good football. We want to do the best job we can. It's a great opportunity to see where we're at in relation to the rest of the world.
Victor, it's a busy couple of weeks for you, but I guess you're always busy, so make sure you get some sleep, but have some fun, and best of luck in these coming weeks.
Thank you very much. All the best.
And it's been great to see all the players that have come through the academy, through the draft, whatever it may be. For Inter Miami, Benjamin Kramaski, David Ruiz, the list goes on. And a lot of that is because of Victor Pastora and crew here with the club. Now, one of them as well here, Kieran, is the goalkeeper, Drake Callender. We're missing him this past weekend, of course. He was with the United States, player who came through the draft, came up through Inter Miami 2, and eventually to the first team. That's a special moment. I don't think people realize how special it is that he was a part of that group that won Nations League for a third consecutive time for the U.S. Look, people could say what they want about the U.S. men's national team, from what it came from to what it is now. Throughout the entire history of it, notorious for great goalkeeping, from Tim Howard to Casey Keller to Tony Meola. They've always had terrific goalkeeping, and now Matt Turner overplaying with Nottingham Forest, and Drake Callender is maybe one of those next in line. How special of a moment is it for a player like Drake to be there to experience that with his national team?
Yeah, well, I think because of Drake's performances, they've been so consistent and such a high level that we're almost expecting him to just be good now every game. But I think the most impressive thing is the speed of his trajectory, of you know, how he's managed to grab the number one spot here and stay really tight on the heels of the number one in the US national team. It's been an incredible couple of years for him. I would say even less than 2 years, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's just great to see. It's just great to see. That will just give him so much confidence coming back. You know, when you go away with your national team and you win something, it gives you that extra boost, that extra motivation to come back and help your club and, you know, stay in the fringes as much as you can, because for me his chance is coming very close for you know, being able to play regularly for the USA national team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, as far as his trajectory goes, he comes in 2022 because of some injuries, because of some player availability in goal. He takes the starting job. He ends up as a finalist for goalkeeper of the year as a rookie. And then last year, of course, how many games did he completely take over, keep the team in it? One of the ones that we've talked about on this show that sticks out is that U.S. Open Cup semifinal against Cincinnati, where yes, there was the late drama and the goals in the last few minutes to tie it, to keep it going, but that game doesn't get there without his saves. And the Nashville one in Leagues Cup, that game doesn't get there without his saves. And the FC Dallas comeback in Leagues Cup, that game doesn't get there without his saves. So time and time again, he has been there for this group and allowed the players in front of him, then the Messis of the world, to shine, because he's kept the zero, or he's kept them within a goal or two. So it's been terrific to see him grow. And from one CONCACAF competition with the U.S. and Nations League to another in CONCACAF Champions Cup. That's coming up. That's the big one now against Monterrey this coming Wednesday, April 3rd, 8 p.m. here at Chase Stadium. Tickets available. Make sure you pack the place out. This, again, is the potential avenue of qualification into the 2025 Club World Cup. Cannot understate how important this is for Inter Miami. So now, Kieran, coming off of that result against the Red Bulls, they will have another game between now and then, which we'll talk about, against NYC FC this coming weekend. All eyes are going to be on that Monterrey game on that Wednesday night. What needs to continue to improve, or get back on track, I should say, back similar to the Orlando game, or back similar to the Nashville Champions Cup matches ahead of this one against Monterrey, because of the importance of the game? Well,
I think for me, the main parts of that performance at the weekend was tactical. I think that it's the first time that they played that formation this season, since pre-season, and sometimes when you change formations and you haven't had that much time, your memory needs refreshing of how to actually play, because it's very different to playing a back four to a back three or back five. It's a different game. So I will expect, you know, if they are going to stay that formation, to be doing a lot of work on it, you know, over the next few days, over the next week. And yeah, that will hopefully they can learn from their mistakes at the weekend and put it right.
And they've got a chance to build upon that even between now and then with that match against NYC FC this upcoming weekend. That's at 7:30 here at Chase Stadium. So a full week of home games here for Inter Miami. And NYC FC, again, a team that's kind of figuring themselves out as well, as a lot of teams are at this early point of the season. But with players coming back from international duty and potentially some players coming back from injury, it's a chance before that match against Monterrey to get things going in the right direction. How important is that matchup against NYCFC to try and leave the taste out of your mouth from the Red Bulls, get back on track heading into Monterrey?
It's really important. It's really important for the confidence of the team, to show everyone else that you have the ability to bounce back from a defeat like that is the biggest thing. We're at home as well, so you know I'm definitely expecting a reaction from the boys.
And one thing that we know for sure is in the stands at Chase Stadium, there's going to be a lot of number 10s in black or in pink. That's because Messi officially is the #1 selling sports jersey of any sport across the world. Should come as no surprise, Kieran, but that is now a fact that has been stated, and the numbers are out there for everybody to see. Far and away, #1.
Oh, I mean, did we expect any less from the GOAT himself? His absence is missed whenever he's not playing for any team in the world. He is the maestro, and yeah, I'm not surprised he's breaking more and more records.
Hopefully it's number 10 on the field as well, but with or without him, they had the big 3-1 win against DC United, and they've shown plenty of talent and depth throughout the roster. Whoever may be available, whatever the case may be, this team is capable of going out and getting 3 points. So it's 7:30 this Saturday at Chase Stadium against NYC FC, and then it's next Wednesday, April 3rd, 8 p.m., CONCACAF Champions Cup against Monterrey at home. Make sure you're online, wherever you got to go. Get your tickets for that one. Probably to this point, Kieran, I would say the match against Monterrey, and not to overshadow this Saturday's match against NYCFC, but the case could be made that this Wednesday's match against Monterrey is the most important match to this point in the history of the club, especially at home. Now, all matches important, but especially these two at home in the next few days. Saturday at home, 7:30 against NYCFC, and then next Wednesday at home against Monterrey in CONCACAF Champions Cup. We thank you for tuning in once again on the Inter Miami Weekly Show here on YouTube. Make sure you are liking and subscribing so you can keep track all season long.